right, let's get right into it. Every single time you get behind the wheel of your car, there are these powerful, invisible forces working against you. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these forces of resistance and really explain how they mess with your speed, your safety, and yeah, even how much money you spend on gas.
You know that feeling, right? You're on the highway, foot on the gas, and it just feels like the car is working way harder than it should be. You feel something kind of holding you back. Well, guess what? You're not imagining things. You are feeling resistance.
So the big question is, what are these things exactly? They are always there, affecting every single thing your car does. And in this explainer, we're not just going to name them, we're going to show you how understanding them actually gives you a huge advantage out on the road.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the anatomy of resistance. We're going to break down where these forces come from, both inside and outside the car.
So at its most basic level, what are we talking about? Resistance is just any force that fights against movement. Simple as that. For your car, that means anything that makes it harder for the engine to do its job and push you forward. It is a constant battle. Now here's something that might surprise you. Before your car even deals with the wind or the road surface, it first has to fight against itself. A whole lot of energy gets lost just overcoming its own internal drag.
Think about it. Inside your engine, the transmission, the drivetrain, you've got all these moving parts rubbing against each other. A big chunk of the power your engine makes, it never even reaches the wheels. It gets lost right here, just fighting all that internal friction.
And on top of all that, you've got a fundamental law of physics to deal with: inertia. It's basically your car's stubborn desire to stay still when it's stopped and to keep moving when it's in motion. You're fighting inertia every single time you hit the gas or the brakes. So after your car has battled itself, it then has to face the outside world. And trust me, this is where the forces really start to ramp up in a big way. First up, the big one we all know and feel: air resistance. You'll also hear it called aerodynamic drag. It is literally the force of your car shoving billions of air molecules out of the way. And you guessed it, the shape and size of your car make a huge difference here. So it seems logical, right? If you double your speed, you probably just double the air resistance you have to fight against. Makes sense. But the physics are actually way, way meaner than that.
And here is the absolute key. Air resistance doesn't just increase, it increases with the square of your speed. What does that mean? It means going from 30 to 60 miles an hour doesn't just double the drag, it quadruples it. This is exactly why your fuel economy just tanks when you're driving on the highway.
Okay, next up is this constant, kind of sneaky energy thief: rolling resistance. As your tires are rolling, they're constantly getting squished against the road and then bouncing back. That whole cycle of deforming and recovering, it just eats up energy all the time. So what makes this better or worse? Well, the kind of tires you have and the road surface definitely matter. But the number one thing, the most critical factor by far, is your tire pressure. If your tires are underinflated, they squish down more, and that dramatically increases rolling resistance. Your engine has to work so much harder just to keep you moving. And finally, we have the most obvious one of all: gravity. When you're driving up a hill, your car is in a direct fight with gravity, and that adds a massive amount of resistance. Now, of course, going downhill, gravity helps you out, but then you have to manage all that extra momentum. All right, so we've identified all the forces. But what does this all actually mean for you? Let's get into the real-world impact on your drive. Look, this stuff matters for 3 huge reasons. These forces directly control how much fuel you use, they determine how quickly you can stop in an emergency, and, this is the big one, they play a massive role in what happens to you in a crash. Now, check this out. This is how resistance applies to safety, and it's fascinating. Modern cars have crumple zones, right? They're designed to absorb the energy of a crash by deforming. But what happens if you hit something that can't deform? Something with super high resistance, like a concrete wall? Well, all that energy has nowhere to go. It gets transferred directly into the car and into you. This is why modern cars and highway barriers are all engineered to crumple and absorb that impact. But here's the good news. Knowing all this actually gives you power. So in this next section, let's talk about how you can take back some control. First things first, basic car maintenance. A properly tuned engine, keeping your tires inflated to the right pressure, making sure your wheel alignment is correct. All of these things directly lower that internal and rolling resistance. It means more of your engine's power actually goes to moving you forward instead of just fighting itself. And of course, how you drive makes a huge difference. Smoothness is everything. If you can maintain a steady speed and look ahead to anticipate traffic, you avoid all that aggressive acceleration and hard braking.
Every time you stomp on that gas pedal, you are dramatically increasing the resistance your poor engine has to fight.
And hey, don't forget about the shape of your car. At highway speeds, even just having your windows down creates a surprising amount of drag. And that roof rack you haven't used in months, it's completely disrupting the airflow over your car. It's basically like you're dragging a small parachute with you everywhere you go.
So, let's pull all this together. It's time to stop just being a driver and start being an empowered driver.
Here's the big takeaway. After this, you're not just pushing pedals and turning a wheel anymore. You're now consciously engaging with the physics that are happening all around you. You can start to anticipate how your car is going to react, whether you're braking, merging, or just trying to squeeze a few more miles out of that tank of gas.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Next time you get in the car and you feel that pushback from the wind or that strain going up a hill, how does recognizing these invisible forces actually change the way you think about the simple act of driving? Because this knowledge doesn't just make you a more efficient driver, it makes you a smarter and a safer one.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.